Governor Kathy Hochul wants to cut your state income tax, possibly by 5%, all part of her State of the State address, which was held today. With more on what's included, 7 News reporter Lexi Bruning.
Your family is my fight.
Governor Kathy Hochul began her State of the State address talking about affordability and inflation, announcing a middle-class income tax cut of 5% for taxpayers who file jointly and make less than $323,000, and an inflation refund check from surplus sales tax revenue.
I'm talking about seniors. I'm talking about recent grads. I'm talking about families bringing in less than $300,000 a year. This makes a difference. $300 for individuals, $500 for a family.
Education was another hot topic during Tuesday's address. Hochul announced a proposal that would make SUNY Community College completely free for students ages 25 to 55 who enter high-demand fields like advanced manufacturing, education, and healthcare. As for younger students navigating middle and high school, Hochul drew up a proposal to address the problem of smartphones in schools, which will create a statewide standard for distraction-free learning in New York. It isn't clear what that will look like yet, but Jefferson Lewis Bosse's Superintendent Stephen Todd hopes it won't be a one-size-fits-all approach.
Things work better here in New York, and at least from my experience, when each community is able to address these things in their own unique ways, because most schools already have procedures and policies on phones and electronic devices. Some of them have found something that works very nicely for them.
The governor also announced several proposals to improve affordable housing, mental health services, and public safety. There's much more to follow, and we will, including reaction from local state lawmakers. Lexi Bruning, 7 News.